Imagine this. You're walking up to Toontown and with your kids to go visit Mickey and Minnie, when all of a sudden you hear screaming and look over to see a brawl happening in front of your kids' eyes. Or better yet, you're on the Little Mermaid ride and you witnessed a woman filming sexual content on the ride. As a parent or a ticket purchaser, I'd only be left wondering, how is this supposedly the happiest place on earth? Today, I will be talking about Disneyland parks. As many of you know, Disneyland claims to be the happiest place on earth, and a place where you're able to experience joy and magic. However, in recent times, many negative behaviors, like the ones I mentioned previously, are occurring all over the world. And if this negative behavior continues to happen, there will be no more magic left for future generations. As an annual pass holder, and I've spent the past several weeks researching and going to Disney parks to further expand my knowledge on the underlying issues as to why this negative behavior is occurring. I will be talking about why Disneyland is no longer the happiest place on earth and the underlying issues as to why. I will be talking about 3 main points. My first point being what is occurring, why is it no longer the happiest place on earth. My second one is I will be discussing the underlying reasons as to why. And my third point is what Disney can do and is doing, and what we ourselves can do to help with these issues. As many of you know, Disneyland is a place where you go to find joy and happiness and magic, and you escape from the realities of our world. And no matter the age you are, you're almost guaranteed to find something magical that you enjoy. Whether that be the food, the attractions, the theming of lands, or character meetings, you're guaranteed to find something magical at one of the parks. However, like mentioned previously, in recent times, this negative behavior has actually grew so much. Take for example, a reason why, before I talk about why all of this is occurring, I want to talk about what exactly is occurring. So, at Disneyland parks, according to Colby in 2024, 3 women were caught fighting at a Pixar Pier snack cart when a 4th woman tried to intervene, and while there was children and strollers around. This is just one example of negative behavior occurring. The second example is that many people are picking fights with other guests or cast members for no apparent reason. Now that you know more about what exactly is occurring in the parks, I want to talk about why this is occurring. Well, all of this is occurring because of 2 main reasons, and the 2 main reasons are overcrowding and overpopulation. As many of you know, in the United States, we have many theme parks around us. For example, Disneyland, Knott's Berry Farm, Universal, and these places tend to be huge tourist attractions for people domestically and internationally. And due to this, many theme parks around the world are increasing. Take for example, the top 20 North American theme parks boasted over 157 million visitors in 2018, an increase of 4% compared to previous years, according to Millman in 2020. Because of this, it is very apparent that theme parks are growing and will only continue to grow. And because of this, it is ultimately leading to very negative behaviors from the people attending. Take for another example is that, according to Doe Group, and Milmaz in 2022, perceived crowding often leads to negative emotional reactions, lower visitor satisfaction, and a decrease in the intention to revisit and recommend. Other examples of like how overcrowding has affected people negatively is that when you go to a Disneyland park or anywhere, there's so many people that you aren't able to do the pre-planned activities that you had. You aren't able to have personal space. Wait lines are crazy, and you aren't able to overall just enjoy the experience due to the large amount of people in the parks. And it's clearly leading to negative behaviors from other people that is ruining the guest experience. And now that I've discussed overcrowding, I want to talk about overpopulation. This is all occurring because of overpopulation. Overpopulation is occurring all over the world, and it's making tourism so much bigger internationally. This overcrowding is not only occurring in Disney parks, but all over the world. Even here in San Diego, we see people from all over the world coming and visiting, and it's only gonna get bigger. So now that I've discussed about what is occurring and why it's occurring, I'm gonna talk about what you can do, what Disney has done and can do. According to Disneyland Resort in Anaheim, they have already started to help with the issue and the surges of crowds by, one, creating more efficient ticket scanners to help with the flow of people, and two, they are opening a new security entrance at the hotel to help with the flow of people. These are just two examples of what Disney has begun to do to address the underlying issues. And something else that they can do is have staggered wait times, and also they can have a better reservation system for people that are entering the parks at different times. Now that I've told you things that they have done and that they can do, I call you all to action, because overcrowding is not only a thing in Disneyland parks, it's something that's occurring, like I mentioned, everywhere. And so I call you to action. So the next time you plan a trip or are out somewhere touristy, you take into consideration what I've told you about overpopulation and overcrowding, and you plan your trip at a better time when there's less people to avoid negative experiences for yourselves and for the people around you. And today I've talked to you about the underlying issues as to why Disney is no longer the happiest place on earth. And I talked about what is occurring in the parks, why it's occurring, and the underlying issues being overcrowding and overpopulation. And the third thing is I called you all to action and talked about what Disney can and is doing. Today I hope that you're able to learn more about overcrowding and overpopulation, and you're able to be more aware of the issue. Thank you.